Have you ever looked at your calendar and realised you're spending all your time on things that feel urgent but barely move the needle? Well, that used to be me as well until I built a simple but genius planning system that doubled my output and grew my business fast despite only working 4 to 5 hours a day. So in this video, I'm going to show you how the system works, how it'll completely change the way you plan in business, and how my clients are using it to take back control of their time, work less, and scale faster. To start, you need to understand why you feel like you're never moving the needle despite being so damn busy every single week. And the easiest way to explain this is to imagine that every morning you get in your car and you just drive. Now, after 10 hours, who knows where you'd be? Sure, you were moving the whole time, you were driving the whole time, but without a route, you may as well have been driving in bloody circles. Now, most business owners run their week exactly like that. You start Monday with great intentions. The messages comes in, something needs your attention, and suddenly it's Friday. You've worked all week, but there's nothing concrete you can point to and say, look, we achieved this. We moved the business forward. And for a long time, I thought this was just how business worked. You do your best to stay busy, you react, you intend to do the important stuff eventually. But that's the bloody problem. You're deciding what to work on in the moment, and that creates friction, which makes important work super easy to delay, and you end up working every day of every week, but never actually getting anywhere. So I built a simple tool which fixes that exact problem immediately. Now, I normally keep it exclusively for my clients in the MOS, but if you want it, you can click the link in the description below to get it. But first, let me show you how it works so you can both work on the business every day and move the business forward every week. So as you can see here, it's built in Google Sheets, and there's a tab for each month of the year. Now, inside each month, you plan out each week, and inside each week, you can plan out each day, and it will highlight based on what day it is in the year. But this isn't for planning your random everyday tasks. You want to use this to exclusively plan the big things that grow the business. So marketing campaigns, launches, big projects, because what normally happens is two things, right? One, it gets the likes of Black Friday and you say something like, we should probably do a marketing campaign this week. And two, you have this big project that you want to work on, whether it's changing CRM, launching a new offer, improving onboarding, whatever, but it's just sort of like, oh, we need to do this. And that's the last you'll ever hear about it. It gets lost in the day-to-day. You keep it in the back of your mind, and that's actually where a huge amount of stress and overwhelm comes from in business. You have all these things you need to do to not only grow the business, but run the business, and they live in your head. And due to the running of the business, the big things that grow the business that are actually going to move it forward get buried just enough so that you don't do them, but not enough so that you forget about them. It's why you can work flat out for weeks, but not make any progress. It's because you're not actually doing the things that grow the business. So let me run you through an example of how this works on the computer so you can actually use it. Step 1, zoom out. So for a week to be useful, it has to actually move us towards something, which means we actually need something to move towards, or in other words, a goal. So set one, it really does not matter what it is. It just set a goal, like a single goal as well. Don't set 3 or 5 or 24. Just set one goal that you want to achieve in the business over the next, say, 12 months. Step 2 is then break it down. So you have a big goal for the year, and that's great, that's fantastic, you need that, but good luck figuring out what you need to do each week and each day with that goal in order to achieve it. It's not going to happen, right? So next, you need to break the goal down into quarterly rocks. These are simply 90-day objectives that if you complete them, you'll have achieved your 1-year goal. Now, what these are completely depend on your goal, your business, and your bottlenecks. For example, they could be improving your sales process, launching a new product, or streamlining your onboarding process. The rocks are not necessarily goals like do $250,000 in turnover this quarter. They're more so the big projects that actually move the business forward and help you achieve the goals. And based on your team size, you'll either want 1 to 3 rocks per quarter if you're a smaller team, or 3 to 5 rocks if you're a bigger team. Step 3, structure. So for the next step, we need to make these rocks actionable. You need them to be super clear in terms of what to do and when, so that you can actually take action on them, make progress towards them, achieve them. And the way you do that is by turning your rocks into strategic actions. So strategic actions are a proprietary concept inside MOS, but think of them essentially as a one-off project that actually moves your business forward and improves it in some way, whether it's running a summer marketing campaign or overhauling your onboarding process or whatever it is. Now, in this resource that I'm giving you, you can see it on screen, there's a tab called Strategic Actions. Here's how you need to use it. So when you click in, you'll see a few examples, but let's make a new one. So let's say we have the rock of run a summer marketing campaign. In the strategic action column on the left-hand side, you want to write down your rock. So run summer marketing campaign, right? And now you don't have to make it look all nice and cohesive, but I tend to try my best to do things like that. So I will make this look nice. So once you've written down your rock, you then want to write down all these steps that are needed to complete that rock in this next column, in the details column. So to keep it simple, let's say we have these steps that are like plan campaign, write campaign, edit campaign, schedule campaign. Okay, so obviously this is a like super basic and simple example, but it does get the point across for the purpose of the example. Now, once you've done that, you want to give each step a clear deadline. So if this is a summer campaign, let's say it launches on, say, June 1st, and it's going to launch for 1 month, we might want to have it, planned by May 5th, written by May 15th. We might want to have it edited by, say, I don't know, May 20th and scheduled by May 21st. This way, now every single step has a deadline, because obviously you don't want to risk, especially if something which actually has like a launch deadline of, say, the 1st of June, you don't want any risk of this getting delayed and some problem occurring and it not being ready for June 1st. So we sort of want to be a few weeks or even months ahead of ourselves. How far ahead is really up to you, but I would always say at least a month ahead of yourself or a few weeks and you're good. Now, obviously, if you have other rocks in here, these are the examples that I have on screen in this resource. You want to have these ordered in order of deadline, these strategic actions. So this one is June. June is after May. So technically we would want to have this strategic action X below the summer marketing campaign, just so that the entire list of the details, the steps and the due dates are in order of soonest to furthest away. Now, once you have the deadlines for your strategic action written in, you want to assign ownership. So who's doing each step? And so for simplicity's sake, let's just say me. I'm doing all these steps. Now, obviously, you might have a marketing person who does one or all of these steps for you. Now, that is essentially your entire rock turned into a strategic action with ownership and deadlines for every single step. Now, you want to do this for every rock in the business and every other project or big strategic action that you've got going on. And all of a sudden, you have got the exact step-by-step action plan for completing each rock and making actual progress towards your goal, which brings us to step 4, and that's plan. And this is where you bring order to your months, your weeks, and your days. Here's how. So you want to go to the relevant months tab. So for this example, with that rock that we just scheduled, it's happening in May. So we want to go to May's tab. And in this tab, you'll see each week and each day of the month. You want to take each step of the rock from the strategic action tab and schedule it in the relevant date. So in May 1st to May 5th, we want to plan summer campaign. So I would just typically do this and maybe again stylize it a bit and just copy and paste it across all these dates. And then you write summer campaign from May 6th the whole way up to, I think it was May 15th we did, was the date. Let me check. So yeah, up to May 15th. And so that's when you're going to write your summer campaign. And then from May 16th to May 20th, you edit the summer campaign up to May 20th. And then on the 21st, you schedule the campaign. You want to do this for every rock, every marketing campaign, every project, every strategic action that's going on in the business. And if you want to make this even clearer, what you can do is you can color code each cell for basically, if you have multiple strategic actions going on in 1 month, you can color code each step of each project to align with a color code of the project. So maybe this summer campaign is red and you have another strategic action going on in this month that you want to color code blue. That way it's really clear what project you're talking about. Or you can color code in relevance to who is doing each step. So maybe you do all the planning, and so maybe you want to make it red, and that way it's really clear when you come in here what steps are yours. Maybe for the writing that's going to be someone else, and maybe their color is blue. So that way you can just simply look at this sheet and you can see who's doing what step, and everybody knows, the team members know, they can look at this and be like, okay, I have to write it, here's the dates I have to write it on, etc., etc. This way it just makes it really clear at a glance who's doing what and when they're doing it. And obviously, like I said, you want to do this for every rock, every strategic action, every big project in the business that will have multiple steps. And this way, instead of juggling a million things in your head, getting overwhelmed and thinking, okay, when do I start working on this summer campaign? When do I start working on this? When do I plan it? When do I launch it? And ending up never finding the time to do it and maybe rushing it at the end or just not doing it at all. You've got your entire year, every single month, week and day planned out, which if you follow will guarantee the business moves forward and grows because you're doing the things that grow the bloody business. All you have to do now is literally follow this plan, which brings us to step 5, schedule. And here's the harsh truth, right? The hard part of this is sticking to the plan. That is the make or break of if this works. Okay, because guess what? This plan for your year is useless if you don't do it. Like, you cannot expect this to work if you don't follow it. So don't go and make this plan and then, complain that nothing happened in your business and, badmouth me and slag me off if you do not follow the bloody plan, okay? Because if you want results, this is non-negotiable. And the rule I give to every single client in the MOS is if you want something done, schedule to do it. That means every single night you need to plan tomorrow. And yes, you might not want to do this, but guess what? You either do it and you make progress or you don't and you stay stuck. It is your bloody choice. Which do you prefer? So I'd recommend every night just taking 5 minutes and you come into this calendar, see what steps you have to work on tomorrow and then schedule to do it first thing. And I mean first, because guess what? That's how you prioritize. It is really that simple. These steps are how you achieve your goals. So they're more important than everything else. So you do them before everything else. Like if you always leave them for later, guess what? They'll never bloody happen. You'll stay stuck exactly where you are. Now, this might mean that you have to leave emails or problems or other tasks for a couple of hours, and that's fine. The business will not fall apart, okay? And if a problem comes up, you can solve it after you've done what matters, after you've spent a few hours on these tasks. Obviously, this is much easier when you systemize both your personal operations and your business because there will be less chaos, there will be fewer distractions, there'll be more time for the important work. And if you want to work with me to systemize your business in 12 weeks, you can check out the link in the description below. But regardless, you plan your day and you do whatever is scheduled on tomorrow's date first, and you get your team to do the same thing so that they can do whatever steps are relevant to them, whatever steps they own, and they can stay on track with the plan as well. Now all of a sudden, every single team member is doing something every day that grows the business, that helps it achieve its rocks, that helps it achieve its goal over the year. And when work is planned like this, your days stop feeling chaotic. You wake up knowing exactly what you're meant to work on. There's no debate or mental back and forth. You're not going to forget about it or get lost in the day-to-day. You're just going to wake up, you're going to do the work that's planned, and because of that, you finish every week knowing you made progress. You can point to something and say, we did that, because you're no longer winging it and you're no longer, just hoping you'll find the time. You're fucking making the time. You're taking control, okay? Because look, business feels hard when every week is improvised. When you're holding all these important things in your head and just hoping you get the time to do them and being controlled by the reactive, urgent, non-important tasks in your business. But it feels so much easier when you take control, when your years, your months, your weeks and your days already have a structure and your only job is to execute what's already been planned. And this is all even easier when the business is systemized. So click this video on screen and I'll show you how to build systems so that your business can run without you.